Welcome to Dev Master Hub Free Code Camp challenges. Today we're gonna start with the cafe menu challenges. By building the cafe menu from this series, we're gonna learn the basic of CSS. So we're gonna start from step 1 to 10. Please consider subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification in order to be notified. Let's get started. Welcome to learn basic CSS by building a cafe menu. CSS tells the browser how to display your web page. You can use CSS to set the color, fonts, size, and other aspects of HTML elements. In this course, you learn CSS by designing a menu page for a cafe web page. Now we're gonna start by the step 1. Okay, and the step 1, this is the project that we're gonna build. So we gonna do it together. Start coding. Now, step 1. In this project, you learn the basic of CSS, stand for cascading style sheets. By building a cafe menu, CSS is the language used to style an HTML element. It describes how HTML elements should be displayed on the screen. As you learn in the past few steps of the cat photo app, there is a basic structure needed to start building your web page. Every HTML document should have a doc type declaration and HTML element. The doc type tells the browser which version of HTML the document is in, and the HTML element represents the root element which contains all other elements. The example here show you need the doc type HTML to tell the browser which version of HTML we use, and after the HTML tag, which is the root of the document. Okay, so now the challenge is to add the doc type tag and the HTML element with a lang attribute of en. So now we're supposed to add the doc type, okay, to let the browser knows what type of HTML that we are using. Okay, so the HTML should be in lowercase too, and here we're gonna write the HTML. Okay, so now we're gonna put the lang attribute. Okay, LA and G. So yeah, so now this is what they asked for. So we're gonna check the code. Yes, it's good. So now this is how you're gonna do the project together in order to memorize everything that you do in the course. Once you do the challenge, you're supposed to go to your desktop and right click on it and create a new folder. So once you create the folder, you're gonna call the folder, okay, cafe menu. So once you create it and you hit enter, so you're gonna right click and open it with VS Code if you have VS Code installed in your computer. So once you open the VS Code in your computer, now you're gonna have the project locally so you can work and see everything that you're doing. while you build the cal while you build the cafe menu. Okay, so give it some time to load. Okay, good. So now as soon as you open Visual Studio Code, you go to open create a new file. Okay, so you're gonna index.html. Okay, this is the file. You click enter to open it, and now you're gonna write exactly the same thing that we write on freeCodeCamp website. So doc type, okay, HTML. So now enter, and we're gonna write the root HTML element. Okay, so inside of the opening tag, so we're gonna put the link. Okay, yeah, and we click on save. Okay, so as soon as we save it, it's good. So we're gonna continue to the step 2 on freeCodeCamp website. Okay, now step 2, add a header element within the HTML element. So you can add a title element. The title element's text should be cafe menu. So what you're gonna do now, we're gonna add a header. So the head element, it's gonna be a moment. Now you have the head. So inside of the head element, we're gonna put the title element. Okay, the title element. Okay, it's gonna be title. Okay, inside of the title element, we're gonna put the coffee. Okay, menu. Okay, so now we're gonna check. Okay, yes, it's good. Okay, now before going further, we're gonna go here inside of HTML document that we have. We're gonna add the header. So the head element. Okay, inside of the head element, we're gonna type the title. Okay, inside of the title, we're gonna put coffee and menu. So I can call it any other things. So I can call it okay, bar menu. Okay, it doesn't matter because this one that we are doing, it's our own, and to understand what we're doing on the freeCodeCamp webpage. Okay, now step 3. Step 3. The title is one of the several elements that provide extra information not visible on the web page, but it's a useful for search engine or how the page gets displayed. Inside the head element, nest a meta element with an attribute name chart set. Okay, set the value to UTF-8 to tell the browser how to encode characters for the page. Okay, so now I can, inside of the head, I can add the meta tag. It's a self-closing. So inside of it, I'm gonna put the char set. Okay, UTF-8. Okay, so when I check the code, okay, it's good. Let's go now to the HTML page that we build as well. We're gonna put the meta tag. Okay, inside the meta tag, I'm gonna put the char set. Okay, with UTF-8. Okay, and now I can click Ctrl S to save it. Let's go back to the web page again. So now the step 3 is already done. We're done with it. So now the char set UTF-8 is the 8, and let's go. It's good. Step 4. To prepare to create some actual content, add a body element below the head element. So now to add the body element below the head element, so now I'm gonna add the body. Okay, the body element. So now this is the body. So I'm gonna check the code. Good. And now we're gonna go back again to the HTML that we created. So here we're gonna start with the body element. Okay, so now, and we click Ctrl S to save. Okay, let's go back to the freeCodeCamp. Now step 5, it's time to add some content element. Add a main element within the existing body element. It will evenly contain pricing, information about coffee and dessert offered by the coffee. So now inside of the body element, so I'm gonna write a main element. Okay, so the main element, they say it's gonna contain all the information. So now when I check the code, okay, it's good. Now let's go back to the page where we're gonna type a main element. This is the way that you can do it in order to know what you are doing, and Ctrl S to save it. So now let's go back to the website, and step 6, the name of the coffee is Camper Cafe. Add the H1 element within your main element, give it the name of the cafe and capitalize later to make it stand out. So now inside of it I'm gonna write h1, the h1 element. Inside of the h1 element I'm gonna write the coffee. So camper cafe. Okay, good. Now I check it. Good. Now let's go to the page. Inside of the main element I'm gonna write an h1. Okay, the h1 is gonna be a cafe camper. Okay, so inside of it I'm gonna write the bar menu instead, because it's the bar menu that we call it. Okay, okay, now I call Control S to save it. So now what I can do, I can go straight to the HTML. I right click on it and I can say open with live server. So when you open it with live server, it's gonna be open. Okay, okay, now we see it. Now we're gonna put with live server, so we see it. Let's go back to the freeCodeCamp. Step 7: to let visitors how the cafe was founded in 2020, add a p element below the h1 element with the text est.2020. okay, that's mean below I'm gonna write a p element with the text est.2020. okay, now when I check the code, it's good, and I can still go there to do the same thing again. Okay, so est.2020, and I Control S. So when I get back, I can easily see the changes here is the same here too in freeCodeCamp. Okay, so step 8, there will be two sections in the menu, one for coffees and one for dessert. Add a section element within the main element so you have a place to put all the coffees available. So now I'm gonna add a section. So the section is okay. So now I check it, it's good. Step 9. Step 9 says create a h2 element. So create an h2 element in the section element and give it the text cafe. Okay, into the section I'm gonna create an h2. so I'm gonna call it coffee. Okay, so when I check it, it's good. So if I go back to the HTML now, I can do the same thing to write a section. Okay, inside of the section I can put an h2. Okay, inside of the h2 I put coffee. Okay, and I put Ctrl S to save it. And whenever I go here and check the HTML, so I see the coffee is here too. So now let's go for the step 10. Okay, up until now you have been limited regarding the representation and appearance of the content you created. To start taking control, add a style element within the head element. So now inside of it I'm gonna write a style element within the head. Okay, the style element within the head. So the style element within the head. Okay, so I write the style element within the head, and when I check the code, yes, it's good. Now it's step 10. So it's all for this video. So now I can go back to the page and do the same thing under the title. So I can write a style element. Okay, and Ctrl S to save it. And now it's all for this video. So we're gonna continue with step 11. So please consider subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification in order to be notified. Okay, good.